We out here. We in here.
I feel like I'm hearing audio from somewhere. Hold on, I got to figure out where that's coming from. Give me 1 second.
Oh, sorry. That's my phone. I gotta turn that off. I had my I'm on the stream right now, so
Hey, that's no
it was
problem.
coming from my phone.
I had my second monitor was going through too. So I'm gonna go live with video. You ready?
Cool. Yeah, let's do it.
Hello, viewers.
Hello, internet.
Hello,
This
listeners.
is Bandscamps episode 3 live recap part 2. We're doing this again.
We're doing it again and again and again. We're gonna do it. We're just gonna keep doing it.
If this goes well enough, we'll just start recapping every day.
Yeah, we just are gonna make a digital internet scrapbook.
Yeah.
Of just everything.
We're gonna be basically like the Truman Show, but just
local bands
totally
of
worse.
local bands,
but just the worst.
We are Grand Rapids #1 local music entertainment live stream / podcast of 2021, hands down.
This is some
cheers.
Hot content here.
This is great content. This is Grand Rapids.
Cheers, Bubs.
And cheers. And this is in the Grand Rhapsody Podcast Network. We are Bandscamps. And
that's right.
One thing I want to talk about was the fans, what we call fans.
Yeah.
I think they're just scamps, man.
They're scamps, yeah.
Let's just bring them into the scamp family, the Scamply.
Yeah, the Scamply.
Scamp Malim.
Still scamping.
Still scamping
after
all
day,
all these
scamping
weeks.
all night.
We got a good show today.
We have Shane Derby in the chat.
Hey Shane, what's up? Pushing them
what's
arts.
Up, Shane?
Yeah, we are pushing them arts, and we're going deeper on these than anyone is going. Anyone has ever gone on Grand Rapids and West Michigan local music.
Yeah,
basically.
We're super deep.
We're very deep. I love this. Yeah, this is the part where we just talk ourselves up.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a great show.
So, if you weren't around on Friday afternoon, we met with Types.
Tim
half from Types. One half.
In the spirit of Motel, I'm gonna hide. We're doing these 2 shows. I'm gonna hide Low Orders art out of here because we're gonna be talking about Motel. I'm gonna pull this up.
That's right.
Boom, real big. We talked about this record with Types
at length.
At length, at great length, and about our podcast about this record.
Mm-hmm. And we got some hot takes from Types.
We did. Unfortunately, it was only half of it. But in the spirit of the split, we are doing a split recap.
That's right.
And we have backstage, we got Pawl. And we're going to bring them out in a second. But we want to talk a little bit more about this episode that we didn't get to.
So the main thing that we wanted to focus on in reference to Motel is we want to, again, touch on the subject of the concept of a concept album. We want to talk about making an album with your brother. And we have also some insider stuff that we learned from Tim from Types as well that I want to get Paul's take on.
Yeah, we did. And we actually have a question from Types to Pawl. We asked,
Oh, that's right.
Which I think Paul said he listened to the episode. So, yeah. So one thing that we talk about too is like intent, and like an artist tries to get from point A to point B, and we often talk about if they get there, you know. And I think that's a really good question, and we are asking ourselves that question if we're getting there. And what we did or didn't talk about with Types, we're going to talk about with Pawl here. So that's is there anything that you want to say before we bring them out?
Let's see here. No, I think I just want to jump right into it. We got Josh Fink in the chat. What's up, Josh?
Hey, Josh. How are you? Hey, chat. Hi, chat. Hi, chat. I'm trying to get my so it comes up as. Are you in the chat as Bandscamps? Are you in there as Dan?
I'm in there as Dan.
Man, I want to get in there as Bandscamps. Am I there yet?
See, we're still asking ourselves.
There's so many limitations of this fucking format, and one of which is their own chat. Like
viewers, this is the struggle
Facebook,
right here.
Facebook, are you watching or listening to me right now? They are. Fix your fucking chat in your live stream. This is garbage, and you want people to go over here. It's garbage. So let me get.
Josh Fink just woke up. That's sick, dude.
That is very sick. I got a bet going on my Discord server, on the PP server, about, it's not my server, but on the PP server that I'm on, it's about when someone's going to wake up.
Ooh, I like that.
We have our own currency over there, or they do.
Oh,
I
nice.
say we because they've recently invited me into their server, but I'm not.
That's
It's
nice.
them.
I was watching a YouTuber do a live stream of he was just like gaming, and man, like they people were throwing him like all these crazy currencies.
Man,
It's sick.
yep. We'll throw up some wallets and some links, but let's bring out our first guest.
Yeah, let's do it. We got him back. We got Paul backstage right now.
Yeah. So, hello, scamps. Oh boy. No, come on up.
Oh,
That was it. That was it. Come on. You're ready.
that's
There's
it.
no
Let's get him
schedule.
on
Come on
here.
in. Come on in. All right.
Welcome,
Hello.
Paul.
Here we go. Hello, listeners and viewers. This is Paul. Hey, Paul.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Doing pretty well. Very honored to be on the first year of Bandscamps' many years in production.
That's right.
Man, we were thinking about the amount of reviews we're going to do. If we do 1 year, it'll be over 52 because we did. I think we're doing several albums in some episodes, so we are trying to just go deep, and I hope we can go for many years. I don't know. I'm in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
That's a lot of music, though.
Wow, it's a lot
I
of
don't
music.
even listen to that much music.
We do. I listen to more local music in the last few months than I have all year.
Yeah.
But I did listen to. There's a couple local releases that I really liked. Yeah, and Paul, yours was one of them. I think for the
Thank you.
most part, we did like your record.
Yeah.
Yes, I could tell that it possibly wasn't your cup of tea based on your music genre of choice, but also
Of like
I
what
think,
kind of music we make specifically? You mean?
yeah, you know, a little bit more, hard
I wouldn't
edged
get. Yeah,
and
I wouldn't get
exciting.
too. I do like harder music, and I wouldn't get too caught up in the specific genre, but I do like a little bit of a harder edge.
Yeah,
Oh, you know
I
what?
could see
We
that,
don't-
but I appreciate
I
you
heard we
listening
don't.
to this.
Cassie has let me know we don't see your video, and that's why I need a producer.
Oh.
Thank you, Cassie. Give me 1 second. I'm so
Oh, okay.
sorry.
That's
Here
okay.
you
I'm
are.
just the
Yeah,
Wizard
he's
of
just
Oz
this
right
ominous
now.
voice right now. Ominous
you are.
Paul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, give me 1 second. Oh, hey, Justin, would you do me a favor and disconnect? It's gonna make my stream look a little better, and you can reach perfect. Oh my God, he did that right away. That's fucking crazy.
Man.
Okay, thank
Shout
you for
out to local musicians who just get it.
yes, thank you, Cassie. Thank you for pointing that out too. That's why I need a producer. Crazy shit too is you guys probably didn't even know that we were supposed to have his video on.
That's right.
Go ahead
We
and
But I've
truly do
now
have
So-
an online backstage right now.
go ahead and talk while I get this shit fixed.
Okay.
Dan, why don't
So,
you take the lead?
Let's okay. So we reviewed Motel, and you did that's a split between a full album split between Paul and Types. I guess I'll do this because I asked Types about this. Like, tell us about Paul. What is Paul?
Well, Paul was a moniker that I donned in like 2003 while I was in college, or maybe 2002. I can't remember, because I was in a college band called The Giveaway, which I don't think is even online anymore because we were kind of pre the online thing. And we played around at Michigan State and tried to make a go of it. And I was just kind of I was singing backup and helping write songs, but it wasn't my lead project. So I kind of wanted to just make some demos on my own. So I made a bunch of demos. And then after being in other bands, I just always kept it going as a side project. And then when I was living in Phoenix full time, I made 3 albums, mid and full length albums with a bunch of musicians in Phoenix, including some where we played actually live in the studio and some where we did more of a studio type thing where we would arrange it. And I just kept it going, and I played gigs in Phoenix. I played gigs elsewhere. So I guess it's just kind of a project that I basically just means I'm the songwriter. Well, that
Okay.
was a long-winded answer. I'm the songwriter since
Good.
2002 or something.
Awesome. And so Paul's just you, just a solo thing. Okay. Cool.
just you technically, right?
Technically, but I bring up, it's kind of like Steely Dan. Whoever is available for the
Yes.
record, I just bring them in. And when I'm in Chicago, my friend Dan would play with me. He plays drums. And when I'm in Phoenix, I had friends that played all the instruments. We would play live, unless it was a low paying gig. And then I would play alone at Italian restaurants and have to throw in covers because it's sad out there.
Okay. I love that you dropped Steely Dan. That's like definitely a
Yeah.
buzzword for Julio and I. a buzz
What
band.
kind of buzz? Like it's getting you a buzz, or like it's like turning you off? Like
It,
what?
no,
No,
turning
we,
us
we like
on.
it. No,
We're
on.
big
Way,
Steely Dan
way,
okay.
fans.
way on, way on.
Way
Okay,
on.
good.
Way
We
on.
love Steely
I'm
Dan.
gonna let my hair down. Actually, we're actually letting our hair down for this
We're letting our
episode.
hair down.
I don't know. My hair's just wet, so Steely Dan's gonna make me do one of these.
Yeah, Steely Dan gets his hair wet.
I've kind of
Good. I'm a huge Steely Dan fan also.
Yes.
What's your favorite Steely Dan song?
Oh
Or do
my
you have
Or
one?
album.
All right, how about album? Let's do album.
When you ask
album.
favorites,
Let's do
it's so
album.
hard for me, but
Yeah.
I love Aja. I just can't stop listening to Aja.
It's a classic.
But I mean, I love Pretzel Logic and I love
Mhm.
Katie Lied and I don't know. I basically my favorite album is called All of Steely Dan on Spotify when I'm in the right mood.
I feel you.
Yes,
They're
I
a
love
band
it.
that's like that is worth digesting as a whole. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It's hard to separate. I've been getting into Gaucho lately, and
Gaucho's
Gaucho.
sick.
Did you know that they basically invented the drum machine for Gaucho? Like
No,
they,
I
like,
did
not know
I
that.
think they are like drum sequencing on computers was somewhat invented because no one could play the drums right for Gaucho. So they basically made computer drumming.
I love
'Cause
them
the
being
beats
like,
are-
no one else can do this. So
I love their entire attitude. They're
Yeah.
just like, we're gonna make some cool music, and if you don't like it, shut up. That's kind of their attitude.
I love it.
I love Gaucho too. Yeah.
They wrote off the humanities. They wrote off like humanities competency at drumming. They're like humans can't play
yeah.
drums. What we
we
need
like we
for-
don't even want the human element
for
anymore.
Babylon Sisters.
Yeah.
No human can play these drums. This drum.
So we aim to be more like Steely Dan every day.
Yeah, we do. We have asked ourselves, what's Steely Dan like this?
Well, they have won a Grammy, so we can.
That's right.
I think you should just have a side project where it's just sort of Steely Dan type music and see what happens.
That's right.
Let me open up the floor to a question here. How did you and Types influence each other during the recording of your record?
Well, I think it was a great meeting of the opposites because I believe Types likes to be way more idiosyncratic and particular with his sound, and also likes it sounding very untamed, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy Steely Dan, and I think if I'm going to go into a studio and I'm not this wizard live player that is like playing punk rock shows, I play the freaking piano. Okay, I play the piano. Like I'm in jazz lounges and restaurants. Like
That probably answers another question that Dan would have had: is like, what instruments are we playing?
Well,
to
let's just get this out of the way. I wrote a poem for you guys.
Oh,
Wow. Okay.
It's very short.
an exclusive.
Okay.
Hold on, I might change the view here and have it just be speaking view for this one. Here
I'll
we go.
read the poem to you. It's about music reviewers talking about piano and rock. And it's called these are things not to say to a piano player who plays rock. But this is the poem. Billy Joel began a boring dumpster fire. Ben Folds is your boomer father. Sir Elton John, please don't bother. Don't blame me. I can't play guitar. That's it.
I love it.
That's my poem.
Thank
It's
you.
okay. It's my only criticism of Bandscamps is you brought up Billy Joel. It's okay.
Ooh.
Forgiven.
Is that a sore subject?
Are you not a Billy Joel fan?
I took 2 days to process that. I mean, everyone's a Billy Joel fan when you've got 3 beers in you at the piano bar.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but am I a fan of him as a human? Absolutely not.
I read a theory that Piano Man takes place in a gay bar, and Billy Joel doesn't know it.
I love that.
That he
Billy Joel doesn't know a lot
realize
of things.
That he's actually playing, and when they say, "Hey man, what are you doing here?" He's like, "Huh?" Like he's like just like playing a song about someone in the Navy who would have married, but he was in the Navy. What? How does that go? I feel like it's very homoerotic. The whole thing.
I try not to remember the
Hey
lyrics. to be
chat,
honest.
can someone in the chat please post the lyrics of Piano Man, and I want to dissect this.
but
this theory checks
but
out.
do each line separately.
Do the whole thing in a chunk, man.
Yeah.
Copy paste.
Okay.
Josh Fink's gonna be on it in 20 seconds.
Josh is on it.
Josh, help me produce. Oh,
So-
Josh is a video dude. We should have Josh produce this shit.
We should.
Yeah.
Moving
Josh,
Out though by Billy Joel is a jam.
I'm not saying he didn't write great
Yeah.
songs. I'm just saying, like, the only
Yeah.
reason I play piano
ass.
in my rock songs is because I cannot play other instruments.
Okay.
And thus,
I never
that's
picked up
situation.
on the piano thing, so that's actually awesome. Like I don't think I didn't know I didn't assume you guys played any instrument. I guess is what I assumed you guys
Oh.
were just like all around producers.
Oh, well, yeah. Types plays guitar, and piano himself, but
Okay.
he prefers to
We
write
got
on
the guitar
piano.
thing out of him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I play
He was kind of
piano
being
and I play
he was kind of being
percussion, but
mysterious. He didn't want to tell us too much about anything.
I'm going to be the opposite of that. I'll tell you too much.
I love it.
I
I
love
will
it.
too. I will too.
Okay, so let's get into it then.
Let's do
Let's
it.
talk about
Let's fucking do it.
let's get some more like working with your brother.
Well, again, the great meeting of the opposites.
Hmm.
I feel like if I'm going to go into a studio and pay someone to, of course it was very not paid enough, but if I'm going to pay somebody to produce my music, I wanted to make it sound really good. And in this album, my idea was I wrote all these songs in 2011. So like, they're not, I've evolved since, but it took a long time to get it done because of resources and location. But essentially, I was thinking, okay, what songs sound like Americana nostalgia? And I wanted to kind of go back to have this innocent sounding childhood thing because it's about our childhood growing up in a motel, which is true. And so Tim Type sent me some songs, and almost all of them that he sent me were just all over the place. So I said, okay, wait a minute. These 5 or 6 sound like Americana. I kind of want to combine those with some of my songs that sound Americana because I've never made an Americana album, neither of you. Let's try to make an Americana album. And with the I think 2 songs in the album don't fit that genre for me in my mind, which are Jealousy and Room 5. They don't sound like Americana pop at all. But essentially I kind of picked some songs, and then I also said these sort of sound like maybe the themes could be around childhood because you're talking about personal things. So I brought those in. And then I had just come up with the idea one day. I was writing a song, and I wrote a song called Motel. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's about growing up in a motel. I didn't just kind of wrote it one day. And when I write songs, I write them too quickly, and then I have no patience to make them sound amazing. So I wrote it in 20 minutes, and I was like, yay, exciting. So I have to bring my friends in to sound amazing, which is this whole Steely Dan thing, because Types has patience to micromanage all of his harmonies and his this and his that, and this guitar sounds like My Bloody Valentine on this album, but this guitar sounds like My Bloody Valentine on this album. I'm like, it sounds like the same thing to me. I don't get it. I don't have a perfect pitch. He has pretty much near perfect pitch. I don't have that. I didn't inherit that. So I'm like, okay, hey, musician friends, make this sound good. I'll be the anchor. I'll do the vocals. I'll do like one take and we'll call it good. So then I know that sounds weird that I'm aiming towards pristine production, but essentially that's how it started. And then we decided, let's do it. And then we realized this is a giant endeavor because we enlisted a mysterious producer, which I actually have no authorization to tell his name either, but who
we had that on our, we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
But I will say this as another hint, he did
yeah.
make a living for 25 years, part of in the music industry, both playing, recording, and other elements to that.
I love this
How many
guy.
years? 25 years?
Something like that. I don't know.
All right, we're gonna
He's
find
probably
out. We're
shoot
gonna
me
find
for
out.
saying
This is
that.
like
One of the great
It's
mysteries.
a small town. You'll find out.
Yeah, this is like the Gandalf of like.
We've just been basically
recording.
getting in everyone's heads, so we're just gonna find out who Jupiter Jones is. Do you think they're watching right now? Actually, don't give that away because there's not that many viewers.
I don't know
Don't give
how
that
well
away.
they do at technology, to be honest.
They-
Besides
they- okay,
music
s-
recording technology.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. They know technology. Oh, I got my plant,
for music,
my plant
yeah.
in here.
I don't know about all this newfangled Zoom and Facebook Live.
So that's interesting that you bring up Americana. That's something that Types did not bring up, which I find so like that you actually had an aimed like sound in terms of like genre, which is really cool.
I
I
did.
think you guys got there.
I did. I think then he
cool.
wanted to,
Did he
also
talk
so
about
are
it?
folk
Did he
American.
talk about genre at all on our
No.
recap?
No.
That's a failing on our part of not asking about that.
Yeah, we should have talked about that, but that's.
I
great
mean,
that
I
you
was
brought that up.
intentional about the genre. When I picked his songs, I picked ones that sounded folky and poppy with a little bit of Americana twang to them, and they sounded more innocent, less dark on purpose.
Gotcha.
For the album being about our childhood, but sort of obviously not totally literal, but sometimes totally literal, sort of metaphorical.
Awesome.
So anyway,
Man,
ask
hey,
more questions.
Chat. Anyone in the chat, if you have a question, please drop it in the chat. We're doing our best to monitor chat and make sure we get questions answered. One of the challenges of this format is the live nature of it, and I'm kind of going to talk, Paul, to let you catch your breath and shit. Feel free to mute your mic for a second if you want to breathe hard and crazy. It's when I do shows with a podcast, usually what I do, my guest comes on, they give their spiel, and then I give them like a whole minute to like, all right, catch your breath and shit, and I'm gonna edit this out, blah blah. Here's what you need to do better. Here's what's not, and it's hard to do that in a live format. So this is just for you to catch your breath.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Welcome back.
Okay, so Jupiter Jones. We're not gonna let this go.
So should we were what were we talking about before? Let's put a pin in Jupiter Jones and come back to it.
We were just talking about like the process of like working with his brother and like how they how the idea of Motel formed. And like I guess from what I gathered, Paul wrote a song called Motel, and he's like, "Oh, this could be something. It captures the Americana vibe,
All right,
and it
the
captures
process of it.
the
And then you
childhood
got
innocence
linked up with
vibe."
Jupiter Jones. You didn't know them before. You put
No,
together the band.
I'm going to put this back on Types. They're really good friends with Types. Now they're friends with me, but he started it. Yeah.
This is so interesting.
So
I feel like we're getting some man.
Okay.
I'm not withholding just for the pleasure of making you squirm. I'm
This is great.
literally,
No, but
I've
I
signed
love-
an NDA. I can't really.
But I love that like Types was the one who initiated it, but like it seemed like Types wasn't like happy with the like totally
Well,
like happy with like the
Like
product.
anything, you don't know what you're
I didn't
getting
get that
into
from him.
until you're into it. You know,
Yeah.
he got into it and maybe realized that this person's production is pristine and
Mhm.
Type's production is more raw. And I think he didn't realize that until we had already recorded 15 songs.
I don't
and
think
we're
he can.
mixing
He
them.
can't. I don't like. Since he's not here and we already talked with him and he was such a good sport. I think I can say like he really seems to be passing off like the way his music sounded onto someone else, you know. And
Yeah.
I don't get that. Like
It was a lot of like compromise.
along the
I
way, the
guess,
guy was
for
like
him.
this. He was like, "How does that sound?" And Types was like, "Sure, I guess," you know, right? Every single
Yeah.
time. Like the guy's on the thing. You record a part and he's like, "What do you think?" And Types went, "Cool." Like he could have said no, right? Any point. So I guess that's what I'm getting at. Oh, see all the movement? My broadcaster can't handle it. Is it getting slow?
I think you're good now. But the
Yeah,
fast
it
movements
caught up.
was like
it
slow down.
does.
Audio
Yeah.
sounded good.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Interesting.
Listeners, I'm doing a 2-camera thing
That actually reminds me of
or a 2
there's
monitor thing.
an old band called Pedals Rang the Bell, and they put it out an album, and they had it mastered by T.W. Walsh, and Andy from the band who wanted him to master the record got the masters back, and he didn't like them, and then just mastered it himself. And I thought that was hilarious because they purposely reached out to like this like relatively well-known guy, and he's like, nah.
Did you have a chance to hear both those?
I did not, but it was when both Andy and I were in the Brave Youth, and I remember him telling me about it, and I was just like cracking up.
I forgot you guys were both in that band.
I know, isn't that weird?
What?
Yeah, it was a really weird time for the band.
Okay, did Andy do like keys and stuff?
No, Andy did bass.
Okay. Sorry.
It was
That's-
Luke, Ryan, Andy, and I.
Okay. We digress.
It was a dark period.
We digress.
Okay, so Jupiter Jones.
You
did
can't
the
stop
record.
thinking about Jupiter Jones, can you?
I know. I'm sorry.
We gave
can't
him
stop.
to be fair, okay, here's how it went. We gave him an equal vote
Mhm.
of the three of us
Oh,
of what
okay.
anything sounded like because he was giving us studio time
Did
for
you guys-
like so cheap.
Okay.
Like he didn't
Okay.
need the money.
See, now it
you
sounds like
know?
you guys are don't. Like, the record
Well,
sounds really good. We
I
like
loved
it.
it. I
Yeah,
love the
that's-
record. I'm a big fan of our record. I'm just saying that was
Did
the
you guys
point of
give him a vote?
contention.
Did you guys give him a vote and then do the thing like in Arrested Development where you voted against yourself because you're like
Yeah.
we can't team up and both vote him out every time. So
Well,
I'm
I
gonna
did
for-
vote against myself. For me, I'm in the Steely Dan vibe. I'm like, listen,
Yeah.
I'm not. I freaking wrote these songs. So Types would sing backup on my songs, and then this wasn't mentioned. I sang low vocals on most of his songs in
Okay.
the background. So we were trying to make two solo artists come together and make an album. How the hell does that sound?
that was one of my
Yeah.
my
So-
questions. Was how much did each of you influence each other's songs and recordings in this? Was it kind of pretty unified? As far
I
as,
would
like-
say not. I would say that the influence came with, do you mind if I contribute this minor element to your song? And do you mind if I contribute this minor element to your song? Because I live part-time in Arizona right now because of my wife's job, but I was full-time there at the time, and essentially I didn't have time to go get sweaty in the studio like I did with my other albums that are on
Mhm.
Spotify. and Bandcamp and all that, where I got like really into it. So it's basically capturing the live sound. These, we had to capture the studio sound because we were sending demos back and forth. And so I'd say, he'd say, oh, how about this on your song? So he actually helped shape a lot of the songs. And I think I more said, hey, how about I add some like really deep vocal, because your voice is more of a tenor, and I added some deep vocal to his stuff. And then I think we kind of let the producer kind of go wild with his ideas in terms of background, weird noises, and guitar, letting Conrad come in and he's such a genius at guitar and all instruments, and just letting him kind of go wild on it and see what happened, kind of just for fun.
I think he's had his hands, is going to have his hands in a few records that we are going to review on the show.
Yeah.
I think it's
in fact,
happening.
him and I are working on an album probably later this year that I've already recorded most of it, and he's going to make it sound good and chunky and funky.
That's far out. We're doing a record together. That he's going to help us release. It's
really?
some remixes of our last record, Been Around, of our last rock record. I guess we put out one since then. Yeah, we got 5 producers doing stuff, and that's going to be.
Well, I think he's destined to be the next famous producer of Grand Rapids, I believe, because he can.
We're
do
all
everything.
about like bringing. Yeah, I like that we're talking about producers a lot, because I feel like the art of like producing is kind of like, it's not really a thing as much as in the local scene, at least, as I think it used to be. Like now, it's more like you hire a guy to record your stuff, and they're more like a button pusher.
I would agree. I
think it goes like in waves, you know.
Yeah.
Where it's like
I think every local band needs a real producer, though, because I feel like when I was in local bands back in Lansing, back before Lansing is what it is today, it was a different type of city back then, 21 years ago, and I was playing, and we went into the studio. We were just like, we want to do it our way. Here's our songs. Here's our little sacred melodies, and we'd play it, and then you listen to it, and you're like, this isn't as good as the live recording. And the producer could, if we had a good producer, they can say, no, try more of this, try more of that. And I think as a local band, when you're like 20 years old or 18 years old, you're like, no, it must be this way, and it just sounds like trash. So
but
finding a
like
producer would be good, kind of brings out that live vibe to it. Go ahead.
Right.
Oh no, I was saying that method of having your songs the way you play them is better than going in and booking time and being like, we actually don't have songs.
Well, that's true. Okay. You have to have
like
the
step
song
two. That's
first.
like step 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Having like going in there and having it be like colored with the input of someone else is really interesting and valuable. And I think with this record, with Motel especially, it works to its benefit. You know, like the production on there is really good and really interesting.
It's stellar. But now hearing both sides, it really does make so much more sense to me why it was.
Dan, can you come up a little bit on your
put as like a split?
Yeah, because I didn't write his songs and he didn't write my songs. They were basically 98% completed, and then we influenced each other, and the producer influenced us in the way that he thought they would bring out. And he tried to make it unified because he realized we had opposite sounds, and he was trying to make it sound like one record. And I think that worked out. I think that every musician struggles, and I heard you guys talk about this with like, what is the final product, right? Because like you said, like it actually would be fun to play this live, because then you have the energy and have people drinking beers at the bar.
Are there ever plans for that, even hypothetically?
Hypothetically, yes, but I think personal lives and all that. Types and I are both more into recording projects with minimal live performances versus having a maximalist. Having all the players involved would be easy in terms of playing the music, but hard to get everybody wrangled since there's no money in it. And we live in a country where you kind of have to, time is money. So that would be difficult. Playing a gig would not be difficult, but bringing the whole glory to it would be in terms of the fact that it's not like we're raking in funds for this. This is like our fun.
Yeah, it would just
for
be
me.
like
It's my hobby. It's what I love to do. It's what I've been doing for 21 years. But for Types, I would say he is producing so many songs and has so many songs and is so particular with his vocals and the way he wants to do things that actually eventually he's going to be probably raking in some streaming revenue and maybe trying to get on a label or something like that. So for him, it is more it is better use of his time probably to keep putting out music that's getting a lot of listens on YouTube and Spotify and all that. For me, I don't know. I'm just here to have fun and play music, I guess.
Okay, that's really interesting. That like kind of brings us to like another topic of like, I think we on the podcast we talked about like marketability and like commercial sound, and yeah, it sounds like Types is more, it's like more of a serious thing than just a hobby, and for you it's just kind of like a, yeah, something you just really love to do, and it the commercial sound of it is just more of like a taste thing, that you just like the polished sound or whatever, and you weren't necessarily trying to like make it sound marketable, you're just trying to make it sound what you think is good.
I wanted to make it sound, I think to be fair, I mean,
Hmm.
with the podcast review, like this is definitely the most, hey mom and dad, I made an album. You want to listen to it? Like this is the
Yeah.
most like family friendly thing either of us have made. It
Hmm.
was the least offensive lyrics, the most happy sounding nostalgic stuff that we've either of us have ever done. I would say
Yeah.
that, I mean, Types has told me, don't let mom hear this song because I don't want her to be traumatized, so we
Sure.
both like, I mean, he's getting into hip hop. I've got a hip hop EP coming on the way where I play piano. My friend plays drums. I got another friend playing bass. We have rappers. I've been on multiple hip hop albums in the last 10 years,
Hmm.
playing keyboards for them. I don't rap very well. So I don't do
You're
that. I
not a
just play
rapper.
keyboards. No,
I'm
yeah,
not a
I've been in a
rapper.
punk.
Do you see that video? With
No, I haven't.
the
I haven't seen
legendary,
that.
what is it called? Like the battle video where the guy keeps being like, "I'm not a rapper," and then he keeps, I can't. It's like the legendary GIF that where the guy's like, "Oh," and he comes through.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Is based
Okay,
on this old YouTube video.
Oh,
It's a
word. Okay.
battle, and he keeps
nice.
being like, "I'm not a rapper," like right to the camera.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, I was in a punk rock choir in Chicago for some years. We covered all punk rock songs a cappella with drums. That was fun. I did do a really weird, freaky folk project that you guys might actually be into because it's really kind of grungy on some of the songs. I don't know. I was in some rock bands that were more traditionally rocky.
I feel like
I
when
don't
we
know.
say something is like marketable or poppy or
Right.
mainstream, this has rubbed a few artists the wrong way.
Hmm.
And it rubs them the wrong way for the same reason I'm saying that like I don't like it. You know
Yeah,
what
well,
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
I don't
but
mind that if it's
good.
marketable. If someone wants to
No,
pay me
no,
for
Yeah.
it, shit, pay
exactly.
me.
That's what I'm saying is that but some people I think do like be like, oh, he's saying it's soft or some shit, and I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's soft. I'm saying I don't like it because it's not rock and roll. I don't want my rock and roll to sound like it.
Right.
And
That's
if you
fair.
take offense to that, that means that you
No,
agree with me. You know, I mean, like, or
yeah.
like not
Oh,
you, but I'm saying
right.
that this is going to come up over and over again. We're going to say
Yeah.
this that something's marketable, and someone's going to be like, ugh, like I'm not trying to make a dollar. You know,
No,
like,
I am trying to make a dollar. I
good,
think at this
good,
point,
Hell yeah.
I think in the '90s,
Hmm.
let's be real. The '90s in Portland, remember that Portlandia show?
Yeah.
Let's be like, I remember those days. Like the U.S. economy, you could get paid like $25 an hour to like work at GM, and then you could like have a band and like have two cars and a house and like three dogs, and your wife wouldn't have to work or whoever your partner was or whatever. And so back then it was like, you sell out. How dare you be like Journey or like
Right.
some asshole like in that hair band, like or Sticks or something, you
Hmm.
jackasses, you're just playing to these casinos. Well, you know what? Those days are over.
I think so
Like those
too.
been over for like
Yeah.
20 years. So like
Exactly.
if you're a musician and a poet and somebody wants to pay you to not compromise your art and
Yeah.
make Outback Steakhouse commercials, and even if they did, I would still do that. Like if somebody wants to pay you for art and it's still like is fun for you, like please do that. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to like be like working in the salt mines and then like coming back like I'm doing my art.
Yeah, whatever works
But
works. And
do
ultimately,
it.
if you're successful in selling your artwork, that means your art might intrinsically have more value than something that doesn't sell at all,
It
you know,
could.
too.
Exactly.
Like it depends on how you look at it.
Dude, I'm trying to get paid all the time.
So
Straight
like
up.
please get paid. Like make
I'm trying. I'm there
so
too.
fun story
At this
that
point.
maybe isn't that exciting, but I'll let you guys, this will
They'll be
give you
they'll
some
be-
time to ask me difficult
our
questions.
scamps will be the judge of if it's exciting or not. So
Hmm.
listeners,
That's true.
let us know if this is a good story.
Yeah, so well, I don't know if it's a good story, but I guess what I'm saying on terms of the paid part, I was in a band called North Pilot in Chicago. And
Oh, yeah. I remember North Pilot.
yeah, and I was in there. I was like their adjunct
Oh.
player because I helped write some of the songs. I'm on the album, whatever. But like they continued after I moved to Phoenix and got bigger and bigger and bigger and played the House of Blues or whatever. But they were my best friends from childhood, and that was who was in my college band. And then our drummer broke off, and he's in Lord Huron still. And our bassist, who
Oh,
was
word.
like our bassist sub Miguel, is also in Lord Huron now. He wasn't really in our band; he was just our little circle.
Hmm.
And then we have some friends moved to New York, and they're like in some I don't know what kind of band, some sort of electro pop things, Brooklyn electro. I don't remember all their names now, but because I haven't talked to them in a while. But essentially, because of North Pilot's success, at one point, Porsche picked up 4 30-second segments of our songs and songs I had helped write, and they paid my best friend who wrote them. He goes, dudes, like, we all had different jobs that were paying us okay, and he like didn't have a good job. He's like, I'm working this shit job at this gift store at Shed Aquarium. And we're like, bro, take the money, it's yours. And they paid him about 30 grand, I think, in total. But then he, well, time out. He also wrote a few other songs for them. It wasn't just those 4. They took the 4, they put them in these commercials, and then and without the vocals, they stripped the vocals. And then because they liked the sound. And then he did like some sound alikes. He probably, I don't want to embarrass him. He didn't want his name on this. He did some sound alikes of like Rage Against the Machine and some other shit for them.
Gotcha,
like, and he was like, don't tell anyone about this. I'm telling it now. They'll never find you. But they paid. So that's how we got 30 grand that year. And that sustained him for a full year to basically be able to make his other albums and like fund North Pilot
I would do
further.
Those Tasty Fakes
I would
all
do
day.
that in a heartbeat.
So awesome. It was like a great opportunity. And he was like, guys, like, I don't know, should we split the money 5 ways? And we're like, fuck it, dude. We have a good job. You're selling like Shamus. Like,
you can
take
have
the
a
money.
whole part of your persona or your identity be, there's a part of me that does this like shitty commercial music stuff, but then I have this other stuff over here that it's all artsy and cool, you know? Like, you could do both things, you know?
Yeah.
I've had to work at like party stores, and it's not where I want to be. And I'm not a party store like employee. That's not my identity. You know?
Right, exactly.
Right. Like, and how cool to do music.
That was a story.
Shit.
So that gave you some time to ask questions, hopefully.
North Pilot, that's great though.
What's your favorite concept album?
Oh yeah.
Shit, that's the only one I didn't prepare for.
Oh, you're kidding. We asked.
No, I do. I have to. I have to love. I still love Sgt. Pepper's, and I love Pet Sounds, which is such a total baby answer. But I love those ones, and I love the Kinks. The Green Preservation Society. We Are the Village Preservation. Green Village Preservation Society. I love that they wrote around themes. I mean, the concept album is weird, and I think everyone does it a little differently. This concept album was just like loosely. I think, like somebody said last time, every album has a concept. Well, yes, they do. But I think this one was like, let's write songs about childhood and shit that happened in a motel.
This is definitively a concept album. Totally. And I think that the barrier of entry for what's considered a concept album is pretty low. It just needs a unified. It just needs like intention.
Yeah,
and that's it.
I agree.
Like American Idiot by Green Day is a concept record, right?
Yeah,
100%.
And to be fair, like Green Day is at once annoying, but I also like respect the hell out of them because they like make statements and they do not apologize for their statements, and I give them massive props for going on the Grammys or the Video Awards and just like totally making some statements that were amazing. Some
bands are just like prone to the concept record, like Pink Floyd, you know, like Animals. I was listening to Animals this morning. I haven't heard listen to Pink Floyd in a long time. I just had
On the Wall. I mean, right?
That's a great one.
So I don't know. Those are some of them. I've got other questions I am prepared for, but I think I wasn't. I feel like the only way to bring
we answered, except for who is Jupiter Jones, which I think you gave us all the clues.
Yeah,
that's all I have for questions.
Oh, okay.
Well, let's open it up to Paul then about like what did we get wrong?
And Paul and the chat. What did we get wrong?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what you got wrong.
Or things you want to clear up about.
Well, I think you were right that the dynamics were somewhat lost because of the pristine production. I think that you got it right that like the songs, like you made a little comparison to Belle and Sebastian, which I would say is fair. And I think at that time, I think that's where my head was maybe. The only thing you got wrong was bringing up Billy Joel and Ben Folds, because I stopped listening to Ben Folds long ago.
Listened to them. You can't deny that it influenced you, though.
No, it influenced me that a guy could play piano and get a lot of fans. But as I got older and as he got older and he got more and more and more annoying.
You just forgot about listening to him?
No, I did listen to him like when I was like 16.
But you did. That's what
but what I mean is it was, you were probably right, but it was annoying to me to bring up Ben Folds because he is now like a caricature Anyway, like he's like a cartoon to me.
Yeah.
But
That's
I think
that's a
I'm
touchy
giving
subject
him
too. Caricature. That's
I'm giving him
another.
props. I'll give him props for this. Good job bringing back piano rock. You're better than Billy Joel. I'm giving you credit, and you made some hilarious songs, and you played some great live shows, and was really a lot of fun.
Who
So
else?
I
Is
give
there
him credit for that.
any other big piano rock bands? Like
Well,
Mates of State were kind of like the
Mates of
keyboard.
State
Mates
or
of State,
Matt
yeah,
and Kim.
Matt and
Matt and
Kim.
Kim,
They're
yep.
kind of in that same exact idiom.
There were some
I
other
mean,
bands
anything,
that
yeah,
didn't
but
last,
like
but
anything with synths, but like specifically the piano y or organ ish. Like
well,
even like
let's not
yeah.
forget the Doors.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, but I mean like modern. I guess modern ones. I should qualify. Yeah, the Doors. Do you like the Doors?
Um, Only in the way that we all like the Doors, which is in kind of
I
like
love
a
that answer.
tongue-in-cheek sort
That's
of
a good
way.
answer. Yeah.
But who could make it? Okay, so
They're kind of
if you want to know
proto-punk.
how I like the Doors, look up the Kids in the Hall skit, The
Oh
Doors.
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
How to be a Doors fan. And then everyone will know why you should like the Doors, but only for that reason, because you have to play into the whole Lizard King mythology of not having a bass player and all that stuff.
Josh, Josh says he saw Ben Folds a few years ago and he insulted the crowd the whole time.
Well, then I respect him more. I'm sorry, Ben.
I saw Ben Folds like back in like 2005, and I thought it was sick, but that
No,
was also
he's
like
sick.
2005.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he was. I don't know. Other piano people, I mean, here's the elephant in the room. My dad
I didn't know there was one.
attempted to lead me away from rock music by making me listen to jazz music my entire childhood.
Bastard.
And he's in some of the music scene, and he was friends with all the Michigan State jazz faculty. And so we would see them at parties, and he would bring me to their gigs. And so of course I got interested in piano. Plus my grandfather went viral on Reddit and like got millions of views and was on the front page of Reddit for playing. My dad was recording him because he played all these old jazz songs, old like songs from the 20s and 30s. So piano was like in my blood, but I can't deny that I have a jazz influence in my chord, in the way I make chords, where in rock, you don't always change the root note, right? You don't change the root note as much. And in jazz, you're always playing these like different root notes,
different
seconds
inversions
and fourths and sixths.
block chords.
And I think my brother did the opposite. He tried to get rid of all jazz in his repertoire of chords. So I think there's some of that. But I mean, here's the other thing. Billy Preston and the Beatles, that was like a huge influence for me when the Beatles used a keyboard. Fats Domino, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder. The reason I bring them up is because, what I found in a lot of bands do this. They'll make their album, and then we get to the ballad. And the ballad brings in the frickin' piano. And they're like, tinkle, tinkle, tinkle ballad. And I'm like, F you for not having balls enough to write a song like Journey wrote with the piano. I mean, come on. Can't Stop Believing is the ultimate like terrible bar anthem. And it was written on the effing piano. And then the guitar solo comes in, which everyone loves. But let's be real. It's a piano rock song. I mean, even Elliott Smith, who I love, made some really great piano songs.
He's a really good piano player.
And yeah, so I mean, it's just like there's some bands that have done piano right. I'm going to name a few other ones. One is this artist who's very prolific out of San Francisco named Kelly Stoltz. And he plays every instrument on his records. He plays bass, guitar, drums, piano, Rhodes. So he's a big influence in the fact that he's kind of bringing piano back, but not in a kitschy way.
Yeah.
Where he's, so I don't know. That influenced me.
Tobias Jesso Jr. You familiar with him? Tobias Jesso Jr. You should check him out. He does a lot of like piano based music, and it's like pretty poppy, and he's like friends with like the Haim sisters and stuff.
I got to use a little Scamps room. I'm gonna be right back. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Let's see.
So I know that
I feel like Alicia Keys, it makes piano cool.
Yeah, well, there's so many actually really good R&B and hip hop bands that are bringing piano into everything, and I love it, and I'm very excited about that. I'm huge into. I think music for me is mood based. So I was just recently interviewed by WYCE about Black History Month, and I was bringing up all these African American artists that were huge. And I think there's so many young hip hop bands like Saba and Frank Ocean and No Name and Tyler the Creator, and they're bringing piano into everything and keyboard into everything, and it's so cool and refreshing to see that. So yeah, I don't know. I like that's what I play. So I guess we're kind of off on a tangent on that.
I love that. No, like I feel like there's not enough like piano like stands out there who are really trying to like push it into like, I feel like, I guess for me, I thought it was like pretty accepted into the rock scene, but but I'm not like a piano player per se, so like maybe as someone who was like that's like their main instrument, maybe feels differently.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe it's just that we have a complex that we can't come to the campfire and play everyone a little lullaby like you all with the guitar. You know, maybe we're just
Right.
jealous of you. Maybe we're just trying to like, we've got piano syndrome. We're just having to defend the piano at every move, like Randy
Right.
Newman. You know,
You gotta get like just a little portable guy.
a little toy piano
Yeah, a
like
little toy
Schroeder.
piano. Okay, so one last thing I think we need to bring up here is the UFO
Oh, the
or
UFO.
UFOs.
So, the
Yes.
lights. Yeah. So, if you saw the artwork that
Hmm.
I wanted that included. So essentially, uh, I was, what was I like? I don't know how old I was. It was whenever Princess Diana died. Tim figured out the day because he's got
Hmm.
like a really, Types has a really good memory, and I
Hmm.
don't. I have a good associative memory. He has a good kind of literal video camera type
Hmm.
memory. And so essentially what happened was Princess Diana died and everyone was like watching TV as you did back then before you had phones to like have everybody give their little version of the news. It was
Hmm.
like just there was one news channel, right? CNN and CBS, whatever,
Right.
watching it. And then later that night, I was in the backyard of the motel, and which was adjacent to some cornfields and swamps and whatever. And all of a sudden, I was like, "What the hell is that?" And I didn't say that because I
Hmm.
was 12. I said, "Oh
Right.
my gosh, what's that?" And
Yeah.
so then I went and got my mom and my dad, and my dad was somewhat dismissive. And I tried to get a VHS camera.
Yes.
I was trying to get my dad to get me the camera, and he's like, "It's not charged. We don't have any blank tapes." This is so 90s, right? We have no blank tapes. It's not charged. And I
He
was like,
wasn't
"Well, I
ready
need
for
a."
he wasn't ready for the truth being out there. I don't think.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was,
exactly.
and also I didn't have a
Classic
digital camera.
Scully.
This is like 1992. I didn't.
I've
I had
actually
a.
had my camera shut because I don't want the government knowing that I'm
Oh,
talking
okay.
about this right now. Just so you
Well,
know.
yeah, are you the silent witness? But
I
anyway,
need a
so I saw
voice
these
changing here.
lights and they didn't have any noise. And so I was like, this is the weirdest thing ever. So I tried to get Tim to come out, see them. He was free. He was like isolating. He was like, no, I don't care. I don't want to see this. And I was just out there for like literally probably an hour. And then I
Wow.
kind of got creeped out because they just kept moving. And then they kind of were moving away. And then I just we kind of got creeped out. And then here's the best part. So my mom still to this day will say, yeah, we saw those. My dad's like, we didn't see anything. We didn't see those. I was like, yeah, we did.
Whoa.
Whoa, a denier.
No, he's either a denier or maybe he's been paid off
Part
by
of
the
it.
government. I'm not sure. But anyway,
That's
so
scary.
Tim had wrote
Dang.
a song about space lights, and then we were both listening to some old weird guy named Jeff Goddard and Joe Meek out of England that did a song called Skymen.
Hmm.
And so we took that song, or he took that song and kind of combined it, and we got permission to sort of make an altered cover and release it. And he's getting his estate's getting royalties off that song.
Cool. So
So
that's very cool.
Whoa, that's awesome.
that's the UFO story.
I love it.
Best I can do.
Julio has seen similar UFO. I've never had a UFO experience, unfortunately.
Yeah, I saw the same kind of ones.
Oh, did you? Where'd you see them?
Oh, I saw them. We went over in the recap part one.
Oh,
I was
you
in,
did?
but I was in. Okay, I was in Heritage Hill in Grand Rapids. I don't know how much you know about Grand Rapids, but okay.
A little bit.
Oh, that's why my computer's getting slow because Creative Cloud's trying to update. Jesus Christ.
You sound fine though.
Oh my God.
So I did actually hear that in the recap. You did say there was lights over.
I was
Heritage
looking
Hill.
over.
didn't
Okay,
know they-
I was in Heritage Hill, on like a classic little porch back there, and I saw lights, the same kind of lights, trios, and in the sky. And I looked, and they were like, there was two girls that were hanging out with, and they were like, there they are again, and they were like freaking out about it, and it was the same ones.
I
There was
wonder
Like, it was
if
like
that
five of
the
us. It was
same-
like there was five of us. There was like
so
there was
awesome.
like there was like three of us, three people there already. Then two of us had just showed up, and they were like, "Oh shit, there they are."
Yeah, I
So,
really
and then
wonder
they
if
did
it's the same
they did
thing.
this thing, and they like came together kind of, and they all like went like view and took off, and they were like changing color and changing shape a little bit, like changing their orientation a little bit. And then one time I saw a UFO a different time, and it was weird. It was just going way too fast to be anything else, and I tried to pull my phone up in fast in time, and it was gone.
Yeah,
That sounds like
my
a-
biggest
And
regret
one,
is
that
that
one
I
I
didn't
wouldn't
have.
have. Yeah, the second one I would have been like, I don't know what that was. But the first one, it was undoubtedly UFO. It was crazy. And
Yeah,
I'm
this was-
skeptical.
This
you
is
know?
stuck in my mind. Like it's kind of one of those things where the first time you see something, you remember it, and it's stuck in my mind so vividly that I've told the story pretty much the same way every time. And I can't explain it, but anyway, it's part of the nostalgia of this album, which is a nostalgic indie pop folky Americana album. And I thank you guys for reviewing it. I just looked at the time and I realized we've been on for quite a while, and you got a whole nother
hey, that's I mean
recap.
That's
so
how the nature of the show.
Yeah.
So let's open it up to chat. Hey chat, do you have any questions for Pawl? And I think that I have one more question.
Sure.
It says this was like a product of 10 years, and we kind of
Yes.
harped on that. Was it?
Yes.
When did you start recording this? Was it really 10 years ago?
Literally, the songs that are on this album were written between probably 2010 and 2011, and that's when we came up with the idea. And then we actually did the first takes in the studio probably in like 2013 or 2014. And then because of money and time, as you know, and we had other side projects going on at the time, we could only do it a couple of weeks a year. We'd jump in the studio and then it would kind of like lay dormant. So that was the only reason it took 10 years, not because of like, it wasn't on My Bloody Valentine situation where we actually were in the studio for 10 years. It was just literally logistically impossible to make. Otherwise we could have probably done this in 6 months. I don't know.
Have you ever been in a brother with types, or not a brother, but a band with your brother?
No, we have not. We went to college in different towns. We have different tastes, I suppose.
Okay.
I did help him on one of his songs called Empire Dance, which is on his one of his solo demo albums. And I did help him on that song. And I think he's helped me on a couple of songs, giving me critiques. But I think if you have two songwriters with distinct styles, I think that's a recipe for Oasis. And I don't want to be Oasis. And I don't want to,
they had to divvy up,
You don't want to call the cops on your brother.
One, I get this one. When you play this song, I'm going to walk off stage and pout.
Yeah.
And just be like talking to some guy and not paying attention and smoking while you play your song.
I mean,
that's great.
He would do that, right? It's crazy.
Not only that, they've fought each other fisticuffs many times to the point where this last breakup, that's why they're both doing their own thing. And I feel like this was as close as we could get to being in a band together. And I think that we have a better relationship if we're not in a band together. So we're not going to attempt that.
The only anecdote I told about brothers in bands was the story about my friends who are brothers who had rehearsal, and the cops showed up. I'll tell the story if anyone has episodes. I'll tell it the way I did. Basically, they were practicing. They're in a band, and they were doing a show together, and they were rehearsing. And they got in an argument, and the cop showed up, and both of them go outside, and they go, "Thank God you're here. I'm the one who called."
Yeah, so
and I feel bad because I feel like I didn't go into like brothers and bands enough, but I feel like that story kind of sums it up.
Yeah.
I think it does because you're going to bring in more than your artistic differences when you do that.
It's
so
personal.
We tried to keep it sort of separate, and that's thus the impetus for the split, but also because that way you could see that these two solo artists sort of collaborated versus,
and you guys don't end up with like the it's an old trope of brothers who make music together that no longer get along because of the differences.
Yeah, I think we get along better when we're not making music together. So I think we're both just going to keep putting out solo stuff. I've got
nice.
just a future thing here. You said like you wanted links or plugs or whatever. I've got a minimalist album coming out in May. It's already mastered. I'm just working on the artwork. And it's 12 songs. Pretty much most of the songs are about 2 minutes long. It's kind of like a poetry meditation album. With
sick.
Piano, Rhodes, vocals, and just me. And I've got an album coming out that's gonna be dark. I don't know, it's still forming, but it's gonna be like kind of dark, very edgy, really rough, the opposite of Motel. With
you've got
songs,
a lot more music for us in general.
Yeah, songs
Forever.
about mysticism and a hip hop EP. So that's what I'm working on.
I love it.
We got a question in the chat.
How many? 4 things?
Yeah.
I have 3 things coming out right now.
But I like to work on
1 in 2 months. Yeah.
Let's go to
Shane
chat.
wants to know what did Ben Folds do to lose your love?
What did he do to lose your love?
What didn't he do to lose my? Sorry, keep going.
Fired.
No, so while you think about that sub statement, this made me laugh earlier. Shane's same statement said I told a girl I wrote a poem for her, but it was just Ben Folds' lyrics in middle school. There was a time. I think it was like 5 minutes ago. I started laughing, and
That's
it was because I read
amazing.
this comment, and I'd like mute my.
That's
mic.
really funny.
I have so much respect for this person just for doing that. Like, I will totally buy this guy a beer.
They're an artist. They did the cover
Okay.
art of one of the albums we covered last week of Captain Daddy's, Sean's roommate.
Okay.
And yeah.
How did Ben Folds lose my love?
Yeah,
I mean,
what did
he
Ben,
had such an
what
opportunity.
did Ben Folds do to lose your love? I could tell there was anger in your voice when he came up.
He ruined his opportunity to make piano music cool again. He just started becoming like, after he did the Ben Folds Live and the Ben Folds album that were like really good, he just started redoing the same thing over and over. And he could have gotten weird and crazy and done like a fun thing over here. But I feel like he just got more and more like bitter at his own success. And then he's been married and divorced 5 times.
Whoa,
Ben
I didn't know
Folds,
that.
Oh, I had no idea.
stop getting married. Stop doing it. Just have a girlfriend. Do not get married. It's
What is that?
not good for
People-
you.
That's like an old school thing where it's like, oh, I've been married 9 times. Like,
No.
what? Like,
No,
why?
he did. And it's like ruining his. And so that made him sad. And so then he kept writing sad sack shit. Stop writing the sad sack shit. I want the more funny, funky shit that you did when you were Ben Folds 5. That was amazing stuff. Ben
Right.
Folds 5, first Ben Folds album, amazing. Then he got all sad and depressed, kind of an alcoholic. But you know what? He's amazing. But still, like, come on, bro. You need to go to therapy. Get a girlfriend that doesn't want to get married and just live your life. Quit trying to marry people. It ruined his music.
Yeah,
Love it.
good call.
My last question is just to recommend us a album or band to listen to.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh,
I love
geez.
this
Okay.
question.
Well, I'm going to just give you a couple little ones that I'm listening to right now because I'm a man of the moment. And I listen to a lot of hip hop. I mentioned that earlier. I'm not going to go there. One of the bands I've been into forever is the Sea and Cake. I know it's
Oh yeah, I love the
Yeah,
Sea and Cake.
I like that
Hell
too.
yeah.
a weird
Nice.
acquired taste, but I'm like a fanboy. I've seen them many times.
Sam
I've met
Prekop's
Sam.
first album came out like almost 20 years ago.
His solo albums,
His solo album.
hugely amazing.
I don't
But
know that much about his solo albums. I need to get more into it, but
Well,
I like Seeing Cake a lot.
he does a Latin jazz type rock thing, and then he does complete electronica. So he's very weird in that way.
I used to party a lot, and Seeing
Yeah.
Cake is awesome music for that. Like,
Sea and
it's-
Cake is amazing.
It's so good.
I'm really loving.
Awesome.
I'll just tell you some bands I'm into right
Yeah.
now. I don't know. I have thousands of CDs and too many Spotify subscriptions, but I really love Kelly Stoltz for like, give me that pop music. Give me that like psychedelic classic
Say
pop
that again?
music. His name's Kelly Stoltz, Kelley Stoltz.
Okay.
He's out of California. He's from Detroit. Sunny and the Sunsets I've been listening to forever. They're super fun. They're like sarcastic. They're comedic. They're folky. They're pop. They've done everything. They're fun. And then some indie, like really indie bands I've been getting into, which are San Francisco bands, are Pat Thomas and the Cool Ghouls. Cool Ghouls, like ghosts.
Yeah, Cool Ghouls. They're signed by our local label, Dizzy
Ooh,
Bird.
We got
Oh, really?
types. We got types in the chat. Yeah, Cool Ghouls is
Oh.
on a label out here in
Oh.
Grand Rapids.
Yeah, we
and we got
not
types
good
in the
with them.
chat. We got
Okay,
We
types.
played
what's
a
he
show
say?
with Cool Ghouls.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did do a show. Was that the one at the recording studio?
Yeah,
I like that band.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're-
awesome.
they're
I
great.
honestly, I get some of those Dizzy Bird bands confused because I'm not like the biggest fan of that genre, so I don't pay attention. But I did like those guys. I did.
Yeah,
like
I mean, it's just for me, it's like candy music. Like I like listening to Mount Erie, and I listen to dark music, and I listen to hip hop. But for fun music lately, I've been listening to that.
They're perfect for that.
I
for sure.
I like them a lot. And Dizzy Bird's got a bunch of great bands on their label.
Yeah.
And I mean, like what I said, like just this genre, I get hung up on genre, you know, and like I say it as like it's like a handicap for me. I'm not saying it's like I don't like it because like it's not cool enough for me. It's like I don't like it because I have mental blocks that don't allow me to like some. shit
It's
sometimes.
okay. Everyone has them. Go
Yeah.
with it. Be
Yeah.
you, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's the burning question now.
Oh, we have another one.
You
Oh, we
well
do.
from Types.
From
Oh.
types.
Did you-
Types in the chat.
He wanted to know how many goat names you can remember from growing up.
How many goat names?
He
well,
had a
I
number,
remember-
and let's see if you need to name.
I
them.
believe I have 3. There
Wait, hold
was
on.
3 goats.
Did he name before you start? You said 3. You can name
Yeah.
3 of them.
No, I don't know the third one's name.
He didn't name him because he didn't want Paul to see the live stream and cheat.
Okay. Does Tim have? Tim, maybe
Oh.
you can message me on Facebook with the names.
So fun story. I'm gonna go with the names. So fun
Uh-huh.
story
Okay,
is
and
my
then Tim-
parents illegally
Tim, message me.
had
Message me. I'm gonna check my
animals.
messages. Okay, message me on Facebook.
So we had a motel. We're right near Michigan
Mm-hmm.
State. We're like 7 minutes drive on the road that Michigan State is on. We're really close to Michigan State, but we're kind of a little bit outside the city. So there's a little bit of cornfields going around. Now I think it's kind of gentrifying, but whatever. Point being is that my parents illegally had farm animals for a couple of farm animals.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, you I don't know if it's illegal. It's Michigan. There's kind of loose with the laws here, but we certainly didn't have a permit to have farm animals or any sort of proper gear.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a goat we milked. Her name was Hannah,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a goat named Cindy, who I don't know why we had her, because she hurt people with her head. She would butt them because she was a mountain goat.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a pygmy goat, and I don't remember that goat's name. And we had a chicken, and the chicken walked around the goat's back. And then my parents got over it, and they just were like, we're not farmers. And they just gave these goats and chickens to these farm people that were like in real farms.
Mm-hmm.
And we got over that. But it was a few years we had goats, which if you're going to elementary school and you're like, hey, I live in a motel and we've got goats, you really have to have a thick skin. So and we eat organic food, and my parents are like hippies that don't believe in your parents. Yeah, like my parents aren't very conservative. It was kind of, luckily Michigan State was right there, so I got it reflected with the professor's kids. But
so we got two names from you. We got Hannah and Cindy.
Hannah and Cindy, both 80s girls' names. I don't remember the third goat. Does he know what the third goat was?
I'm actually waiting for him to message me.
We're waiting for Tim. If you're stand by.
I got 3 names. Give me the 2 names he said again.
Cindy and Hannah.
Cindy and Hannah.
Do you want to guess? Do you want a clue?
All I know, it was a pygmy goat. It was a pygmy goat. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the name was. I'm gonna guess an 80s girl name. I'm gonna guess Tiffany.
So Tim says our mom was big on the biblical goat names, but I don't know that Cindy's biblical in any way.
Cindy is as biblical as
from the
Misty.
Bible. Cindy,
yeah.
Cindy from the Bible.
Yeah, Cindy from the Bible.
Yeah,
That'll be a great band name.
Cindy, I think Cindy was in the Trailer Park Bible.
Does types think Cindy is short for Cinderella, and that Cinderella's in the Bible?
Yeah. Cinderella might as well be in the Bible, but the Bible's about men and their success. So Cinderella's about women.
The third goat name starts with an E.
Oh my God!
According to types,
it came back. Wow,
Chat.
You just had a magical moment. It's Esther.
You got it. Wow.
Biblical women for 500. Dan,
I love
That's
it.
biblical. You had biblical.
That is biblical.
Cindy was the rough and tumble cousin, because I believe Hannah and Esther are biblical.
That's incredible. I'm also gonna now use the little scamp room. So continue.
Well, I'm gonna let you guys. Are you guys taking 5, or do you want me to fill some time before? Are you bringing in?
Just hang out with me. I don't know.
Okay, well,
Chat. This is your last time to say anything. To Paul while we're here, I
want
to say thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you.
It's been a really fun journey doing this, and it's a really sensitive subject, as we're saying, and we are doing our best to really go deep with these records. So I appreciate that you kind of got what we were doing. Was there anything else that was not that you wanted to clear up, or that we got totally wrong?
I'm
gonna put that.
I think I don't think you got things wrong per se. I think you were just puzzled by why we would why we were doing a split, why it was a concept album. Were we being serious, or were we being contrarian? I guess we were being serious, and I think this is the we're playing characters though. Because I don't think all of our music is like this. So I would say that some other influences I think we missed for this album would be, I think we sound a little bit like there's some Brian Wilson stuff going on.
Yeah, I think so too. On subsequent re-listens, I think there was a lot of that. The music a lot more lush than I think I gave it credit for.
It does, it does take listens, because one thing you did get right is there isn't like an all and out single. There's not like a single song that's like, wow, that's a pop single. They really spent time. It's all kind of like, it's got some maybe poppy elements to it, but this is meant for a deep dive listen. Yeah,
and I think every subsequent listen that I've had to this record, I've enjoyed it more and more. And listeners, this is a record that will reward you the more you listen to, I think. And that's actually a sign of a really good record. And hopefully we can do a recap. We were talking about, Dan, how this album, in my opinion, is one that will reward you on more listens.
Absolutely.
And what I was saying was that this was something I was glad that I got right about this. You know, I didn't remember. We taped these a month ago, and I actually forgot. I was like, I hope I gave this record a good review because I actually like this. I listened to it again, and then I listened to the podcast. So I'm glad I did. And I actually haven't edited the next episode yet. I edited yours, I think, weeks ago.
Well, I would say this: for me as a local musician, which means that I'm not anywhere near sort of famous in the music world. I would say any exposure is good exposure. So you guys having this cool show, I really hope you guys get sponsors and get like some faithful fans here. And
thank you.
We have a few.
It's
scams.
fun.
We got a few.
It's fun and it's entertaining to me to be interviewed. So I've appreciated it. And actually, now cool thing is I'm going to subscribe to your show.
Thank you.
Because now I can start getting plugged into the local music scene, as I don't live in Michigan full time still to this day. I want to kind of learn more about a lot more bands here. I'm starting to see some shows before
it's going to be
COVID,
a fucking madhouse when COVID's over and it's going to be insane because I'm pretty much planning on devoting full time to doing this kind of garbage with other bands and live streaming. I mean, I got interfaces, I got mics, I got computers, and we're going to pair it up. So
I think it's going to take off.
It's going to get gnarly. It should have taken off a long time ago. There's like hundreds and hundreds of bands in this town in West Michigan that people don't even know about, and there's actually bands that are big that are from here that you wouldn't know are from here.
Well, I would say just like any other scene, what happens is the more bands help each other out, the more the music gets out. So right now, I named a bunch of San Francisco bands earlier. They are just a bunch of people that have devoted their time to broadcasting these San Francisco bands. A couple of them got some minor success on the festival circuit, and now because of that, now everyone's going and trying to find out who's playing in San Francisco. So, I think Chicago had that for a while. Brooklyn kind of does, but they kind of try to cut each other's throats over there. So if we can kind of like work together here in Grand Rapids and not like do the Brooklyn thing where you burn somebody with like a vegan sandwich if they hurt your feelings, like if we can kind of like work together here, I think, you guys broadcasting this, at least maybe if you can at least get paid something for your time.
We'll get there. I think
that Grand Rapids will blow up. There's always been a lot of good music in Michigan. And I think that it's not noticed maybe as much as some other states, unless it's like bluegrass. But I think we'll get there.
Hell yeah. We want to thank you for coming on today.
Thank you so much, Paul. It was so fun meeting you. And like,
do you got anything that you want to say while Dan kicks you? Dan's gonna and true Bandscamps can Dan's gonna just boot you.
Yes, and I'm gonna make a statement as I'm being booted.
That's right.
Yeah. And Dan, whenever you want, just kick him.
I would like to make a statement about the psychedelic scene from the early 2000s. You can cut me off anytime. The band Calliope comes to mind. And I'm just going to keep blathering until...
God damn it. I'm so fucking glad he's gone off. Jesus.
Good Lord. Everyone check out Pawl.
I got his
Pawl.
I got his
thank you guys.
I got his info up here. That was good. That went well.
That was great.
Let's delete some stuff. Next up, everybody, we got Low Order. So
we gotta get Justin back on the chat.
Go ahead and connect. Give us a second, but we want to talk. Well, you can connect whenever. I'm just not going to show you if you do. If you connect, keep your mic muted. Go ahead and connect. Keep your video hidden, and then we'll get you on. That went great.
That was great.
The talker. I love it. Let me get my. Why don't you say some shit while I get our presentation looking better for getting ready for Low Order.
Man, those brothers can really they have a lot to say about the records, and I really appreciate that. That's cool. I like that. Like we like opinions. Okay, here comes
I think
Justin.
We're just coming. Oh, Justin's here. Okay, let's get.
He's coming.
Here he is.
Hello, he's coming.
So Justin, go ahead and connect with your video and your mic, and then just take it away, Dan, while I got our presentation going, will you?
Sure. Yeah. Justin is connecting. We got Justin coming from backstage here.
This is
Low Order. So, this is a totally different music than what we just talked about. So it was a really fun. This was a fun episode because we had on one side Pawl Types doing Motel, which is very like a pop record, and then we have Low Order, which is like an electronic album. So whenever you're ready, Justin, hop on with your video and mic, and we'll get started here.
Yeah. Hey, this is looking good.
Everyone, this is
Low Order. Low Order. Hey, how are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
Dude, your
coming
beard
on.
is thick right now.
Yeah,
It looks
not
awesome.
much else to grow, you know. Gotta hang out in COVID and grow
Yeah.
beards.
Well, thank you for joining us on the live stream. We know it's a pretty like chaotic thing, so
It's
we
good. It's
appreciate it.
good. The interview with Paul was entertaining.
It was I had a lot of
That's
fun.
what we're going
It's great.
for. Everybody, like, make no
Mm-hmm.
mistake, we are looking to entertain. We're looking to, like, yeah, just have fun and talk about local
Mm-hmm.
music, and release it specifically in a
Right.
real honest, earnest way.
So tell us about low order. What is low order?
So low order is, I guess, kind of grew out of the fact that I wasn't playing music with friends anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It had been some years since I had played out with my previous band, and that urge as a musician that I'm sure both of you guys have to just play live, share sounds, share your music, talk about music. It never left. So it was like, I've always wanted to kind of do something on my own, but I am not a songwriter. I'm terrible at songwriting, and I've always kind of depended on the support from bandmates.
Mm-hmm.
So I found modular synthesis at some point
Mm-hmm.
and was like, oh, this could be a bandmate, you know?
Okay.
And
I
that's
like
basically kind of
that.
where everything came together.
I like
Okay.
that. You got some gear behind you there. I see.
I do. I'm sitting in
I
the
love
room that
that.
I make music in.
Studio.
I love that.
So
Can we see
yeah.
it? Can you twist your body a little bit?
Yeah. So
Wow.
Whoa!
there's the
Here,
there's
I'm
the
gonna
mod,
go.
there's the
Let me
rest
go.
of it.
Hold on. Let me go into speaker view and then keep talking.
Okay.
So I guess for the layperson, describe
Oh, it's not right.
modular synthesis for us all in like a pretty accessible way, I guess. Someone who
So I guess
doesn't know about synthesis.
yeah, so I guess the way that I think about it is that you're able to control. You have to look at it as in the form of electricity and like waveforms. You're able to control the source of it. I mean, you can do that with a keyboard as well, but with a keyboard, it's prefabbed. You buy it, you start playing the keys, and you twist knobs and stuff. With modular synthesis, you have to actually know what's happening to be able to control the tone. So when you first start, you have your oscillator, and it's just a ever running fluid wave signal. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just a tone that, and you got to use everything else to kind of make it do something.
Where does the original sound come from?
The original sound does come from an oscillator.
So what? I don't know anything about it. So I'm gonna assume the role of my listener who maybe doesn't as well. What's an oscillator?
So an oscillator is it is oh it's a good question. How do you,
Like it's
so
motion,
every
right? It's something rotating, right? But is it
It's
rotating
it's just creating a waveform.
a waveform of just a neutral waveform that's not in any pitch specifically, right?
Mm-hmm.
and it all it is like a PCB with
Mm-hmm.
capacitors and
Wow.
resistors and everything.
Hold that up.
Mm-hmm.
Hold that up good to the camera. Let's see those
So
knobs. Yeah,
so like
that's the good shit.
that
There we
would be
go.
one.
So yeah,
Um,
a lot of time like it speeds up the waveform so they're audible.
yeah. That's
What waveforms? Just something that's already there. Just an electronic impulse or whatever. A signal?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep.
Perfect.
So it is
Yeah.
it is an
I
electronic.
think it's helpful to break it down, like
Yeah.
like it's something that is, even though synthesizers, etc., have been around for a long ass time, like I think there's still kind of a mystery to people of what they do. I even learn new stuff about them every time I talk about them.
And that's a great way to put it. It is an oscillator is an electric signal. It is voltage that is at a specific. I don't know the correct verbiage, but it's at a specific range, like
Yeah.
wave range.
One
that
of
it creates
one
a
of the
sound.
Yeah,
That'd be
one of the
fine.
many electronic wattage, ohms, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And then you
yeah.
take that, and so my understanding, you take that and patch it through, and you can change the pitch of it and add effects to it, and
Mhm.
all that in a way that is actually all analog, right? This is all
Mhm.
analog synthesis. Is that correct?
I mean, there's digital modules
Sure.
out there as well, but yeah, yeah. The concept is analog.
Josh Fink says, I worked at Moog for 2.5 years and I still don't get it. That is hilarious.
That is synthesis
That
right
is
there, guys.
synthesis. Synthesized. I want you synthesized,
Yeah, I
Josh.
don't think anyone is actually supposed to know how synthesizers actually work.
I'm gonna say
Yeah,
good.
it took a while. Once the base concept, once I was able to understand the base concept of it all, everything kind of fell into place. But there is still a lot of it that I can't wrap my head around. You know.
That seems like broadcasting to me. There's like sometimes things don't work. I'm just like not doing it well enough for it to work. My computer's just too slow.
So you have a modular synthesis, like a Euro rack, a modular synthesis set, a bunch of modules.
Mhm.
Tell us, like, how do you describe the album to folks who've never heard Low Order?
Um, the album is, for the most part, improvised.
Mm-hmm.
It was rehearsed. Like each song was a patch that was rehearsed, and each rehearsal was recording. But each rehearsal was improvised.
Okay.
And then I just kind of picked the best one.
Okay.
The thing, I guess the genre, I suppose, like, because you had mentioned on the podcast, you had mentioned it is ambient,
Yes.
which I was specifically trying not to make.
Interesting.
So if it came across as ambient, then it's not a bad thing.
Uh-huh.
But
Okay.
but I was specifically trying to create music out of modular, because I know of, there's always exceptions to the rule, but I know of modulars being ambient, where it's just like washes of sound, and like you're sitting in the, on the beach in the ocean, and waves are crashing over you, and like the sky is like hazy and moving. Or it's just bloops and bleeps and
Sure.
random, everything is random. So I wanted to create something kind of in the middle of the road, where it was still musical, but I could play off of what the instrument was feeding me.
Sure. I think the ambient vibe definitely got to me for like, I think there's just a lot of like space in it. Like,
I think yeah.
Certainly.
And for me, ambient is literally like lack of better terminology for what this music is.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it noise. Because it's not noise. I don't want to call it experimental, because I didn't think it was doing that.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, like, what would you classify it as, do you think?
I can't tell you. I have no idea.
Sure.
I think it works great.
I don't believe that. Chat.
No,
Drag
don't.
him.
drag him.
But, I got to use the bathroom really
honestly
bad. So,
haven't,
All right,
so let me go.
Yeah. Josh
Yeah.
Fink says, shout out.
I should have
bleeps
said
and
scamps
also
room, huh?
bloops. Yeah, the scamps room. Okay, so interesting though that you weren't trying to go for ambient because you think of bleeps and bloops, but because I feel like there are a lot of bleeps and bloops in the songs, at least of the first few songs,
Yeah.
and maybe that's just
I think it's the nature of the beast, too.
yeah,
You can't
for
get by
sure,
it.
and I like that about like I like bleeps and bloops, and so well, I guess while Julio's not here, I can nerd out a little more about the actual like synthesis part. Like, how much of it do you feel like is, like how much of the music has like an element of like randomness to it,
Um,
or do you feel like you had like a pretty good control of everything that was going on,
I
or
think
did you try to
with
put
this
that in
album
there?
specifically, I think I had pretty good control over it. Maybe like 80% I was in control, and 20% I was kind of playing off of what the instrument was feeding me.
Sure.
but with as I kind of progress and like move into new territory now, I am looking toward randomness a lot more.
I feel like that's where I'm at now too. Like I love elements of randomness in music. I love just like kind of seeing what like the hard will throw at me. I think it's great.
Yeah, and I didn't want to get too crazy with that initially because I wanted to know what I was doing, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
You
Yeah,
know.
I feel like you can only really embrace the randomness once you know how to control it,
Yeah.
and then you can kind of, I guess, like control the randomness in a way.
Yeah, with the stuff that you're doing, I have a hard time deciphering between what is I can't remember that piano that you have. That
The piano,
I can't tell what's that anymore, and
uh-huh.
like what maybe like the electron gear that you have or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's
So which
probably
is
just all
cool.
coming from one pedal.
Oh, okay.
It's just that count to five pedal probably.
No,
Oh,
that's great though, because I
yeah,
really like the fact that you're able to find uniform
for sure.
with all these
I
different
appreciate that.
elements, and that's
Okay,
something
so
that I'm kind of
back
working
to
on.
the album. So you said they're one take and
Mhm.
they were rehearsed, slightly. So when tell us about like the recording process.
So that is all was all going through my interface
Good question,
and
by
then
the way.
directly into
We did
Ableton.
we didn't ask this on the pod. We didn't talk about
Yeah.
the recording of this. We knew it was done in one take, and I think we knew how like how you did it, but we didn't ask like how you did it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the podcast too, I took some creative liberty in the wording on Bandcamp and said that it was recorded to tape.
Mm-hmm.
Not really thinking that it'd be taken literal.
Mm-hmm.
Until Julio was like, "Oh, he mentioned that on the podcast and was like, oh, did this see a physical release?"
Mm-hmm.
And then thought, "Oh man, people are gonna rightfully so assume that if I say recorded to tape, it's recorded to reel or something." So
Right.
I took that down because this was actually just straight two channels, left
Okay.
and right channel out of the modular into interface, and I
Mm-hmm.
have two. Sorry, I should step back a second. I have
Did you say
two.
you removed that part off your Bandcamp?
Yeah, yeah. I
Whoa.
don't want it to be
That's
Wow.
misleading.
Bandcamp. That's Scamp influence. I don't
That's
hate
like
it. I
true
don't hate it.
scam
I love it. I
material.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's engagement, man.
Um,
That's process, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I
yeah.
think like it's not off brand for this release, even.
Sure.
You know, to like change it too. Sorry, we're just we're gonna get in everyone's heads. That's just what today's episode is
Yeah.
in your head. Oh, Josh Fink says shout out to Bleeps and Bloops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
just
you
fine.
recorded into interface
digital,
into
this
a
is all
DAW.
digital.
Yep. In Ableton.
Okay.
Okay.
So it was analog into digital, basically.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Now, did you do like what about like stuff in post?
I threw some EQ on it, so it's coming out of the modular.
Mm-hmm.
It's 4 tracks, a
Mm-hmm.
left and right from two. I have 2 output modules,
Oh, okay.
and then so a left and right out of each of those. So I did a little EQing, and then I downloaded the what's that Isotope mastering program that they have where it's
Oh
kind of
yeah, that thing is
automated.
wild.
Yeah, you get a 10-day free trial, so I downloaded that and mastered it in 10 days. And then threw it up on Bandcamp.
Wow. Okay. So you self-mastered it too. Cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that
Yeah.
was like incredibly hard.
I don't
But
think it sounded like bad. Like
No.
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
But
I think you did a good job with it.
Yeah.
thanks.
I agree.
Thanks.
Now, did you do it like so it's not chopped up at all?
There's a little chopping, like I think at the intros,
Okay.
outros definitely, because like I
Gotcha.
would cut things short. Believe it or not, some of these tracks were longer, 30 minutes or whatever. So I did edit it down a little bit. But yeah, as far as like splicing anything together,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool.
that I think, if I remember correctly, actually at the very end of the last track, where the drums come in.
Yeah.
I may have spliced that in because I think that was a lot later
Okay.
into the recording. So I think I cut that and actually brought that
Gotcha.
in earlier, so the song wasn't so long.
Gotcha. Feel free also if you don't want to like want to reveal all your secrets, don't feel pressure to like answer or like these like
Don't tell him
deep
that.
Oh,
questions.
I'm all
That's
in.
Dan.
No, there's no
Dan,
secrets.
you want everyone to be comfortable. You're
Yeah.
into that. I'm
Absolutely.
excited. I've never been to your house, and I'm excited for you to host me. I'm like wondering if is there gonna be like red carpet like coming into your house? I love it.
Oh, I wrote all these at Dan's house. When I
Did you
lived
really?
in the bedroom next to his?
Nice. Yeah, just right behind
How
me.
is Dan's house?
It's lovely.
Really?
Like, yeah, the most beautiful house that probably.
Dan and I are pretty close, and I've never been there.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta go
I've been
right.
outside.
Like,
I looked inside.
We're gonna keep it that way.
That's like more my. That's like I don't know whose fault more that is. If it's my fault or Dan's fault more.
No, I usually just don't have a lot like people over.
I think I've denied. Man, I was like talking about this pre-pandemic. I had probably a whole year of being very tired. I think I was like very exhausted for a whole year before pandemic. So I
Now
think
you've
it's
had
never.
time to
I never want to do
recuperate?
anything. Yeah.
Are you tired now?
No. I wake up like pretty early in the morning and
Yeah, you do wake up early. I'm shocked by that. Yeah, like, you like throw me a text at like 8 and you're like, "Good morning. Here's a paragraph."
yeah. I don't expect you to read it right away, and I assume but you're right. Yeah.
No, it's cool. I love it.
I told you, give you 2 days a week, or you get 7 days a week.
That's right. Um, let's go into the title then. Carved out space, meditations in time. Like,
And as you're thinking about that, chat. If you have any questions for Low Order, hit us up.
please. Meditations is a heavy word. Do you find that you were trying to create like things to put people into a meditative state, or were you in a meditative state while making the music?
That's an awesome question.
Potentially, because I think I was drinking a whole lot of wine at that point. But I guess, yeah. I don't necessarily want people to fall into a meditative state that you would think of with like practice, like years of practice with yoga or something. But I wanted to set the stage like this is a listening album. If you're not into that, you probably won't like it. Kind of, I don't know, play off like the whole new age vibe a little bit.
Yeah, I like that though. I feel like Julio and I both resonate with like the idea of like saying like this is what this is, like it's not for everyone.
Yeah, I'm
think
into that. Yeah, I like exclusivity in art. I think it kind of creates some mystique. It's gonna kind of rub people the wrong way, And I wonder if with this record, if I was rubbed the wrong way about it. And I did go back and listen to it, and I think that like it was all like what I thought of this record was okay in my opinion. I don't know, like looking back, I'm always gonna like, and listeners and viewers and artists that submit, I'm always gonna look back at what I thought and reevaluate my own thought on it, And I kind of stand by it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So,
Julio, do you have any questions for Low Order? Maybe as someone who's like not in like the synthesis world, or more broader questions?
like how much attention do you think is paid to how much the listener will enjoy this music when it comes to this kind of music? Sub question: how much does that matter?
That's a really good question.
Like how much does it matter how much attention you pay, or how much does it matter how much the listener cares about it? Like in music that is, and I appreciate, like I'm just gonna go off for a second. In music that is like meditative and processed like this, there is a certain element of like this is kind of a chore to get into, but if you do get into it, you may be rewarded, And I wonder how much of this music relies on that versus like I actually want to make an enjoyable experience for the listener. If that makes sense. I know that might be 4 questions. But.
No, it totally makes sense. I think with this album, of course, I want people to listen to it and enjoy it, but that wasn't the primary goal. It was more for me, but at the same time, I was writing it in a way and recording it in a way that I wanted the songs to to carry the listener through. So I did have a listener in mind, but I'm just not sure who that listener is specifically, I suppose.
Totally. Just another you.
I like artsy shit, man.
Probably, because I mean, after
like I'm totally like into like it being like a high art thing, and and like that's great. That's a perfectly valid position for people to take, in my opinion. It's like it's just a thing.
Also, straight up, like you got to be able to like your own music. Like I straight up like listen to my like when I'm writing a lot of music right now, and like I straight up like listen to like only my music like 90% of the time these days.
Nice. That makes me feel a little bit better because after this album came out, I did listen to it quite a bit. And lately I haven't touched it in a whole lot. I think it's, I don't know if it's, if I need it anymore, but I thought that was interesting because I don't really listen to my own stuff very much. I had another point that I wanted to jump off there, but I can't remember what it is.
That's okay. We'll keep talking while you remember. That's the nature of this. We haven't given you a breather time too. Yeah. Let's go to the chat real quick. We got Dan Camp Smith. We got Dan Camp watching Bandscamps. Let's just talk about that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of camp going on here.
Dan Camp Smith says Digilog.
I don't know what Digilog is.
I would assume it's digital plus analog.
Oh, okay.
Shout out Dan Camp. Dan Camp just put out some music recently too. Dan Camp was of Bad on Rats singer.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Is still it? I don't know if
still is.
I think so.
I mean that band's probably just in slumber. Great band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every Michigan band is just in slumber.
Right. Stan Camps. Oh yeah, Stan Camp. That'd be good.
Stan Camp.
We'll put that in the blocker. Josh Fink says Julio just wants to come over and sleep. Not entirely not
my
true.
house.
Yeah, I do. I would.
Totally.
I'm someone who could sleep at random places.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm like kind of picky where I sleep.
Really?
I only really feel comfortable like in my house.
Have you ever slept on a floor? Like
when I'm on tour and stuff, yeah. But usually
thing.
you just get like wasted or something, so you kind of pass out.
You have to.
Yeah.
What else? Dan Camp says bandmates texting at 7 a.m. Lol. What? No. He said 8 a.m. That's my personal cutoff's like 8. I usually wait until I see that you have liked anything. I'm like, oh, he just liked something. He's awake.
you just wait in that with your phone and you're like
just like
can I?
Waiting for you.
Can I?
Like, oh.
That's awesome. So, okay, let's open it up to low order then. Like, what did we get wrong, or what do you want to clear up?
I don't think you got much wrong. I actually really appreciated the criticism, and it made me kind of second guess my approach to, like it made me question what I did wrong with the album. Mm-hmm. Like, because I had specific intents. One of them being like, I want this to be an art statement as opposed to like a traditional music release. But I didn't actually push it enough to become an art statement. I didn't work on it the way that I work on, what traditional art. So, and your podcast kind of made me realize that. And then I'm kind of revisiting my current stuff and rethinking that. So,
oh, cool.
It was reflective instead of, I don't think you guys really missed anything.
We do have some questions in the chat if you're ready for some.
Oh, certainly.
Unless you got it sounds like you're at a end of that thought.
Yeah,
I jump the gun sometimes. I think we're on a little bit second delay, maybe 2 seconds.
And I ramble all the time, so
I ramble too. I interrupt and I shout.
Perfect.
Cool. We got question. Do you use a maths module?
Yes.
Yes. Cool. Do you want to expand on that? That's a question from Josh Fink. He asked.
The only thing is I probably don't use it as much as other people use it. I mean, it's like, so for those that don't know, it's probably the most popular module out there in the world, simply because it's such a versatile utility. You can make it do a lot of things all at the same time. But I don't go to it. It's not a go-to for me. And sometimes I think about selling it, but I do have it. And then I
Whoa.
think like, oh, I can't sell it because it actually does do a whole lot of shit.
Synth people, get in the chat. I am happy to learn more and not be a part of this conversation if we can get like all the synth people up in here talking about synths. We got another question.
Yes.
Dan Camp asked, at Low Order, I find I write differently during all this craziness. Do you feel this album was a reflection on that? That being, do you feel like you wrote differently being more secluded from other people?
I am a homebody by nature, so I am kind of secluded anyway. This pandemic, for like all the terrible things that it's imparted on the world, it hasn't affected me from a societal standpoint because I'm not going out. I don't go out very often anyway. But as far as the writing goes, all of these tracks were written prior to lockdown. By the time the pandemic hit and Michigan shut down, I was in the mixing and mastering stages.
That's good to know.
Probably mixing at that point. I think mastering was in April, and then like I did album art and stuff and released it sometime in May, maybe.
My mic's up. So it was pretty much done by the time that.
Yeah, the songs were done. Yep.
That's what I love about this format too, Dan, and you, is that we are getting such a slice of the whole year was so varied. It's going to go down in history as like it was like a year of this, but it wasn't. It was a year of many and varied timelines,
I don't even think it was a year. Like, it's, to me, the time went by so quick that I don't even acknowledge that 2020 was a thing. Like, I don't remember that anything ever happened. I mean, it didn't, because everyone.
Yeah, like nothing happened, but everything happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Cultural, and there were cultural artworks that still happens, and that's what we're kind of trying to highlight here, and maybe just like kind of just trying to do it in this tiny little niche of like West Michigan is something we can all manage.
Yeah.
We got another comment here. Josh says the people at Make Noise are very nice and cool, by the way. That's
Wonderful.
cool. Is that who makes the maths module?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
And they're, if I remember correctly, they're in the same city as where Moog is. So.
Oh, okay.
I guess I assume that's how Josh kind of knows.
That would probably.
Was that Asheville? Maybe.
I think so.
I don't know if he wants.
Which I didn't know until recently that Moog is employee owned, which I think is pretty.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that.
All right, chat. Any more questions? Asheville. Josh is Asheville.
Okay.
All right, this is going really well. Let me see if I have anything else I want to ask you. What's next?
Yeah, what's next?
Did we ask that? What's next for Low Order?
Drums, lots of drums.
Really?
Yes.
What is your main? Is that your main, like outside of like synthesis? Is that your main instrument? What would you say?
No, guitar is my main instrument, which I've thought about bringing in too, but
I like it, man. I love how guitar and
weird.
synth sounds together, like the kind of Weezer rental sound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
or like I don't know, anything where they mimic each other is like real freaky sounding, I think.
Conceptually though, I can't figure out how I would do that unless I'd like I guess it's crossed my mind to like write, because in previous bands all I would do is write guitar loops, like basically like weird loops. So I'm like, okay, well I do that anyway with synthesizers, so I can just do that with the guitar. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's nothing like super forward thinking.
Will you continue to use like the modules for like drums, or will you like move on to like drum machines?
A bit of both. So I have I've had a couple of Electron boxes for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't. Well, I guess on Advanced Habitat, the last track there, that is the drums on that are on from the Digitone.
Okay.
So they did make it to the album, but that is so the drums are going to either be from the Digitone or the modular.
Okay. Sweet.
And probably a combination of both. Like more often than not, so far the new stuff is like 4 tracks of drums on the Digitone, and then like 3 more tracks on the modular.
I love it. Recommend us an album or an artist or a band to like listen to.
I love this question.
Right now, the best album that I've listened to is by an artist his name is Ben Pierce. And the album is Automatica.
Okay.
It's I think from what I glean, I think it's all algorithm based music.
Whoa!
But it's
You have to
really
explain that.
So random, but from a mathematical standpoint. And I could be totally wrong about this, but this is kind of what I'm gathering by listening to it. And it's incredibly interesting. Long songs, but you won't get bored with these ones. I highly recommend them.
I will definitely check that out.
Listeners, viewers, artists, if you want us to talk about your record at length and devote hours and hours talking about your music, I just popped up the review submission link. It's bandscamps@gmail.com. Send us an email. I just popped it up on the broadcaster there. It should be showing up right there. Yeah.
This
is great.
Wooly, do you have anything else? I don't think I have any other questions.
Let's chat if anyone's got anything. Dan Scamp says guitar plus synth equals heart emoticon. I agree.
All right.
I agree.
I remember when the Strokes put out that song 1251 and like that lead guitar sounds like a synth, and I remember like freaking out about
I feel
that.
like
That
some of
awesome.
the second album even is that what you're talking about? Is it on that
Yeah.
album? Yeah.
Yeah, they like try to like emulate those synth sounds with guitar, and it's great.
I like it.
Me too.
I feel like what's his name? Fucking dude from the White Stripes did that with a lot of
Jack
stuff
White.
where his modulation of his guitar or the octave pedal stuff, it
Yeah.
almost gets into synthesizer territory. You
Totally.
know, I don't hate it. Don't hate it.
I love it. Don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
Don't love it, but
I don't want to say I
hate it.
like nothing. Everybody, I guess I'm gonna take this time just to plug everything. Let's do plugs. I want to plug bandscamps.com. This is our website where we host our stuff. We are available on Apple podcasts. We're available on Spotify. We're available on Stitcher. Everywhere you find podcasts, we do our episode reviews. Every Tuesday, we drop them. Sometime in the weekend, we have it unified a time. We've done Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. Let us know what you like. Send us an email to that email. Whatever. We're trying to figure out what is best served this kind of discussion. And we're doing our best, and we're going to do it. But we got these 2 contacts. And then I think... we're just trying to get more people involved. If you are into podcasting or broadcasting, it's just going to open up pretty soon, and we're down to do all sorts of stuff. Dan, do you have anything you want to plug specifically?
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram at Bandscamps_. We're still looking for sponsors, so if anyone has a product or small business, they want to reach thousands of new ears. Hit
We're
us
not
up
joking
at
about that.
Bandscamps.
I have the like the metrics or whatever to prove how many
The
people we're
analytics.
reaching. It's a lot. It's a lot of people. So if
Yeah.
you want to do that, if you have a business or whatever, reach out to us. We're also going to do Patreon too.
Yeah.
Dan's got some new stuff called Bermuda Teenager he's been working on.
Mm-hmm.
I have we just put out I Believe in Julio put out a record called Synonym of I Believe in Julio, and it is exactly, it's 3 songs, and it's exactly that. It's a synonym of I Believe in Julio. Low Order, what's on the horizon for you? What do you want to plug? Anything cool besides this record going on?
No, I'm writing right now.
Hell yeah. I think that's I will plug that. Writing is good. Do you go through like writer's block periods?
It's not necessarily writer's block, but it's ideas. I have too many things that I want to do. And trying to hone in on one or stay with one for a long period of time is hard for me.
Jeremy Ensley from Wicker Basket says it takes time to cultivate your sound, and I like where Justin is going, he says.
Awesome.
He said his
Thank you.
shared journey will be part of the experience for listeners. I agree.
I love it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
love
Any
it.
plans for live low order?
Ooh, good question.
Oh, see,
Live order.
I would love to do that, but I don't know how that would work.
You can live stream, bro. We're live now. We're live right now. By the way, I want to say this podcast has been done 100% safely. Dan and I handed off one microphone to him once, and that's the extent of our contact. So it can be done. It can be done safely. Hopefully, this is something that's not going to be an issue. But in the future, if it ever happens again, we know we can do this kind of shit remotely.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, hopefully, yeah, maybe you can figure something out. Maybe the American football tribute got you or itched to be on stage.
Did you play in that? I missed that set.
Either I'll just figure out.
Yeah, he
how
was
to
the other
sample
guitarist.
everything.
Really? I missed. I didn't know you play guitar in that. I missed it.
Yeah,
It's all right.
Justin
It was
Justin
fun.
absolutely killed
It was
it. It was so good.
Hell yeah, I bet it was super good. All right, I think that we can probably call it pretty soon.
Yeah.
Do you have any last words, Justin?
I don't.
Okay, so I
Thank
think
you so
we're
much
just-
for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, chat. I'm gonna give you chat. Let's give chat 45 seconds to come up with a question or a comment or anything.
Wait,
check out
Justin.
Low Order.
We have to have you say something, and then before I boot you.
Yeah, we will. Well, let me. So you think about what something to say while we kick you off, and then I'm gonna just plug you real quick. Low Order. This was Carved Out Space Meditations in Time by Low Order. Recap. You can find more music at low-order.bandcamp.com. Is that correct?
Yep.
Cool. And then yeah, if you listeners want to have your music reviewed in this way and talked about, we are going to review everything. I'm not going to turn anything down. We need the content. Next
Word.
up, let's talk about next up. Oh, we talk about that after we kick you. So Justin, think about something to say while we kick you off.
Think about
And then
something to say.
No,
or
just say it. Just say it.
Yeah.
Just say it.
A
I'm
quarter
bad at
cup
talking,
chickpea
sorry.
flour, 3 tablespoons plus 4.
That was bad. I'm glad he's gone. I'm gonna act like I hate the person when they leave too.
Yeah,
So
right.
I'm like, oh man, that was great.
That was great. I love these so much. They're so fun.
They are fun. It's so tempting to just go for hours, but that's the format. You know,
It is
what I
the
mean?
format.
And like maybe we just get a Patreon, and like after these, if you're feeling like it or I'm feeling like it, we just do our own little bonus content,
Right.
where we join up or we don't. Maybe we get a server going.
Right.
Viewers, listeners, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you. New episode dropping this Tuesday.
Yeah, this has been a Grand Rhapsody production. Dan and I are executive producers of this network here, and we're looking for more shows to produce of whatever. I want to produce more voices. So if you are into doing this or into this and have something to say, a message, whatever, let's promote it.
Let's work together.
Yeah, we need a producer for this show too.
So, yes, new episode this Tuesday. We're going to be talking about Luster by Fruit Punch and Leaps and Bounds by the Brandino Extravaganza.
Yeah, this is episode 4. It's a doozy.
It is a doozy, guys. So I think you're going to really like
Man,
it. Or
you know, did you hear that I hadn't edited this episode yet?
yeah,
I have not, and I need to almost like, we both need to re-listen to these to one of the records before we even get to editing, you know.
yeah,
And so that's a teaser.
yeah. Thank you, Dan Camp, for tuning in. Thank you, Josh, for tuning
Josh.
in. Thank you,
Thanks,
Jeremy,
Thanks
and
Cassie,
everyone
for
else.
producing. Everyone else.
Thank
on
you,
here.
Shane Derby, for tuning
Shane
in.
tuned in. Shout out to the scene. We
Yeah,
are
I mean
we are
the
underground.
The chat is awesome, guys. That's like my favorite part.
This
so.
is, and we might move over to Twitch or something. I was doing, man. There's so many loyalty things and weird things on Twitch. I know Dan Camp he's 8-Bit Owl, so shout out 8-Bit Owl. He does retro gaming stuff. He was doing Secret of Gaia or something yesterday.
Oh, that's sick.
We should do. You like some old school RPGs?
Sometimes, yeah.
We should do some together. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Last words, Dan. Anything you got to say?
Just stay safe. It's still a pandemic, so
That's
Yeah.
true. We're almost out of the woodwork.
mhm.
All right. We will talk to you on Tuesday when you hear episode 4.
Mhm.
This has been episode 3 recap.
Part 2.
Part 2.
See you guys.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.